The scammer claimed I was blocking my girlfriend's luck with money. My girlfriend dumped me immediately. You're so pitiful. Not only are you broke, but you can't even find a wealthy partner. After the breakup, a whopping lottery jackpot that had been unclaimed for 6 months landed in my lap. $20.4 billion. What's even crazier? That ticket was supposed to be my ex-girlfriend's. I was coming out of a small street shop when I saw this guy, dressed up in a cheap robe, stopping my girlfriend Christina and talking nonsense to her. He was waving his hands around and even started dancing, which looked an awful lot like a workout routine from the internet. Even though it was obviously a scam, Christina was nodding seriously. She totally believed it. I walked over to Christina. The pseudo-monk had already left. Christina turned to me and got straight to the point. We're done, Evan. You're blocking my luck. Being with you, I'll never have a good life. I was shocked. Could someone really break up over a street fortune teller's word? Did she leave her brain back in the delivery room or what? Seeing me stunned and silent, Christina thought I was unwilling, and her face turned cold. I'm not discussing this with you. I'm notifying you. You're so pitiful, so poor that you can't even find a rich partner. When I get rich, maybe I'll let you be my lackey. I couldn't help but laugh. We've only been together 2 months, and you say I'm blocking your luck? You're 22. Why didn't you get rich in the 21 years before we met? Christina was my classmate. She confessed to me 2 months ago. Christina realized my words were harsh and her face turned a shade of colorful black. Evan, don't come begging when you're broke. With that, she turned decisively on her heel. I took a deep breath, putting my hands in my pockets. Surprisingly, I found a small piece of paper. Confused about what it was, I heard a voice. You, young man, I see an unusual aura about you. Your face is glowing. Oh, you're about to get lucky. I turned to see a familiar face. It was the same fake monk who had just fooled Christina. I deadpanned, are you going to start dancing again? Embarrassed, the fake monk dropped his hands. You just turned my girlfriend into my ex. The fake monk finally got it. Wow, someone actually believed it. I was waiting for her to ask for a solution, so I could sell her a talisman. Who knew she'd break up before I made a dime? Seeing I was down, he tried to comfort me. Cheer up. Newton said action and reaction are equal and opposite. Maybe breaking up will make you rich. I was dumbfounded. Stick to your superstition, don't drag poor Newton into it. He's probably restless in his grave right now. After the fake monk left, I looked at the small note in my pocket. Christina waited outside because I went to buy her lottery tickets. She never missed a draw and always had an excuse about missing change, making me do it. I was going to give her the ticket later and casually mention it. But Christina didn't even give me a chance. I almost tossed the ticket away. I didn't believe in luck. My dad lost everything because he obsessed over cracking the lottery. It ruined us. He ended up jumping off a building, leaving Mom and me alone. We struggled until I went to college and started working part-time. Life got better. Still, I put the ticket back, feeling a bit superstitious. That night, my buddy Lucas insisted on treating me to a big dinner. Lucas was mad at Christina and wanted to deck her. I stopped him. Forget it. It's good to see her true colors early. Lucas, a bit drunk and full of bravado, said, Evan, don't worry. What's mine is yours. As long as I have money, you won't be broke. I laughed and felt touched. We're both seniors, graduating in a month. Still jobless, not much money between us. But he was determined to treat me. Claimed he'd pre-booked the dinner long ago. He couldn't bear wasting it. That night, we stumbled back to our dorm, crashed on one bed. The next morning, a phone call jolted me awake. Half asleep, I heard Christina's excited voice. Evan, that monk was spot on. I broke up yesterday, and today my lottery won 10 grand. Bet you've never seen that much money. Huh? The guy's incredible. Even after splitting, she didn't forget to buy a ticket herself. I sighed. So is that why you're calling? To brag? Christina crowed. No, actually, just letting you know. If you regret it, beg me. I'll give you $100 for a meal as a breakup fee. Breakup fee? I spent more than 100 on those tickets. I sneered. No need. Keep it, buy yourself some pig brains. Then hung up. Lucas was awake, having heard everything. He couldn't believe she still counted on lottery luck. Shrugging, I got dressed. A small paper fell from my pocket to the ground. Lucas asked curiously, "What's that?" "Oh, the lottery ticket I got for Christina." "Nothing, just Christina's ticket." "I'll toss it." Lucas waved his hand. "Check it, man. What if it's a winner? Maybe not 10 grand, but 1,000 is cool." Saying that, he pulled out his phone to check online. I kept dressing and teased. She said I block fortunes. Might as well apply for some jobs, we're still unemployed. Unexpectedly, Lucas didn't respond. I turned my head in confusion. I saw Lucas holding a phone in one hand and a lottery ticket in the other. His eyes were wide, and his mouth was so open he could probably fit an egg in it. He stood there with a stiff neck, looking at me. After a moment of shock, he lunged at me. Maybe he had too much steak last night because he was incredibly strong. Took me a while to shake him off. He really won. Huh? More than Christina's 100,000? Lucas nodded, nodding like crazy. More. Couldn't believe it. Really? How much more? Lucas did some quick math. Not much more. Before I could finish my sentence, he casually added just an extra 2 billion or so. A week later, Lucas and I went fully prepped to the lottery center to claim the prize. Before taxes, it was $2.4 billion. After taxes, it was $1.6 billion. Right there, I donated 100 million and deposited the remaining 1.5 billion straight into my bank account. Lucas refused to take a share, saying in his words, "It feels more like a billionaire's spending if it's with you." With a massive amount of cash at hand, Lucas and I discussed how best to spend it. There was no way I was going back to work. Wouldn't that be a waste of my crazy good luck? A house was essential, so I planned to buy 2 large apartments downtown, one for myself and one for Lucas. Then we'll grab 2 adjacent villas with yards so my mom can move in. She loves gardening. She can finally have her own garden. Lucas and I could live in the villa next door so we'd be close. Lucas said he wanted both a cat and a dog. I thought about it and agreed. Plus, to make it easier to take my mom out, I planned to buy 2 cars, one for Lucas and one for myself. After adding it all up, we'd still have about 1.2 billion left. I was amazed. I never thought money could stretch so far. Let's stash 600 million and live off the interest. The other 600 million will cover daily expenses. Lucas cracked a grin. Even if you go house shopping every day, you couldn't burn through 600 million. Pinched his nose. I've got this much luck. Of course, I need to spread it around. We'll help out impoverished areas with some schools and libraries and set up foundations to encourage scientific research. And didn't you love jewelry design? We could even start your jewelry brand. Lucas froze for a second, then broke into a big smile. Whatever the billionaire says. But let's do charity first, then the jewelry, he said, and we high-fived, already plotting. Once the plan was set, we started preparing. In our flashy new Porsche, we raced to the city's top villa area. Who'd have thought it, running into Christina? The real estate agent saw us step out of the Porsche and rushed over. When I said I wanted to see the best villas, he hesitated, giving us and our simple clothes a quick, discreet once-over. Then he asked cautiously, "Our best villas are the 2 premium ones, each over $1 billion. Are you gentlemen interested?" Lucas and I exchanged glances, both thinking, oops, forgot the shopping spree in our plan. I raised my eyebrow and said, "We're planning on 2. If they're right for us, we'll take them both." The agent's face lit up, and he politely led us to check out the villas. I immediately fell in love with the spacious yard and the pointed attic. We paid in full on the spot. The agent was practically on cloud 9, touching the contract like he was in a dream. "Wow, the wealthier they are, the more low-key they act," he mumbled. "You 2 came in looking modest. My colleague even said you might be influencers who rented a car for social media photos. You probably wouldn't buy. If it wasn't their turn, they wouldn't have pushed me to assist. It wouldn't have been my sale." I chuckled and whispered to Lucas. "Wonder if that agent regretted sending someone else," I said. Lucas replied in a low voice, "The agent looks like Christina. Missed their chance to cash in." If Christina knew that the 2 billion jackpot was originally hers, she'd probably faint. As soon as Lucas finished, we heard a familiar voice. Evan, what are you doing here? Oh, I know, looking for an internship, right? It was Christina, arms crossed, looking smugly at me. With her was a classmate we both knew, Mike. Christina boasted, Mike is my boyfriend now. Did you know? He's the bank manager Leo's son. Very wealthy. Mike had a superior air about him but couldn't hide a bit of envy. Good looks but still looks poor, he said. No wonder you broke it off. Christina, smirking at me, said, Mike just got a townhouse here. Paid the down payment right away. If you begged me, I might put in a good word. Help you out, at least for the interview process. She laughed, pity in her eyes for my internship struggle. I chuckled. What's wrong with being an agent? They work hard for what they earn, unlike some folks who don't even respect themselves. Lucas added, yeah, with you around, they don't need a guard dog. At that moment, Christina leaned over to ask Mike if he wanted water, only to be pushed aside impatiently. Our comments hit the nail on the head for Christina. She angrily stepped toward me, but the security, called by the agent, stopped her. The security guard, a little shaken, patted his chest. Excuse me, miss. If you continue to harass my clients, we'll call the authorities. Mr. Evan here is a valued client. He just bought 2 premium villas. Please mind your words. Christina couldn't believe it, glancing between the agent and me until realization dawned on her. Turning to me, she accused, you've really fallen. Settling for a sugar daddy? Aren't you worried you'd bankrupt them? Mike sneered at me, grabbing Christina's arm. Let's go. Don't talk to people like that. PM today, my dad's got a meeting with a big client. We're gonna tag along to see what that's about. Heard they're planning to deposit over $1 billion. If my dad lands this deal, he's in for a hefty bonus. While he said this to Christina, Mike kept throwing smug glances my way, as if he was showing off. Once they left, Lucas dazedly asked me, I thought you had a morning meeting with that banker Leo? I replied with a twitch in my smile. Apparently, it's related to Mike. Maybe we should choose a different bank. Before Lucas could respond, the real estate agent eagerly and sincerely suggested, nah, those 2 are so annoying. We have to embarrass them to feel better. This is about justice. Lucas and I exchanged speechless glances. You'd make a great screenwriter, I joked. In the end, we decided not to bother changing banks. We told Leo just to meet us alone, no extra guests. Leo readily agreed. With $1.2 billion deposited into his bank, Leo was ecstatic, saying, Mr. Evan, you're like another dad to me. I laughed it off, no need for that. A few days later, while Lucas and I were in the middle of some retail therapy, I got a call. The snobbish advisor's voice came through. Evan, you and Lucas are the only ones left without an internship. You're dragging our class employment rate down. Your family isn't well off and you're not helping. Don't go around saying you were my student, you deserve to stay poor. She then mentioned that Mike's dad sponsored a class graduation party and pointedly told me I had to attend. With weird sarcasm, she added, you'll come, right? It's at a 5-star hotel. You couldn't afford that yourself. Good for you to experience it. And when you see Mike's dad, make sure to thank him. I was speechless. If I thank him, he better dare accept. Regardless, I had to attend the graduation party, for old time's sake. After all, 4 years in college, and we'd all go our separate ways soon. On the party day, Lucas and I dressed to impress in the spoils of our recent shopping spree. Tailored suits, sparkling diamond watches, and rare leather shoes. When we walked in, the room's attention instantly shifted to us. Wow, Evan is looking good. Wasn't he poor, though? How's he suddenly loaded? Yeah, look at his outfit. It's legit. Mike and Christina were the center of attention until everyone turned to us. Mike's face twisted in anger, and he loudly declared, you guys might not know, but Evan hasn't worked because he's hooked up with a sugar daddy, and he brings bad luck. Christina hurriedly chimed in, that's right. I can vouch. When we were together, I was always broke. After breaking up, I won $100,000 from the lottery and met Mike. Such a great boyfriend. The advisor, who was speaking with bank manager Leo in the corner, heard the commotion and looked over. It was hard to say who flinched first. Leo started sweating bullets, thinking about his earlier comments. Surely my son didn't mean it like that, right? Even if he did, as another dad, I wouldn't mind the details. He stumbled over his words. Observing Leo's tense face, the advisor misunderstood and thought he was upset because of me. She quickly said, Evan apologized to Mike. His dad kindly invited you here, and you upset his son. As your advisor, I'm just trying to help. Without money and connections, graduating students like you will be left behind by society. Realizing things were spinning out of control, like a runaway horse, Leo quickly placed himself between us and the advisor. Teacher, your intentions may be good, but please don't go any further. Before Leo could finish, Mike interrupted. Evan, you'd better wise up. No good comes from crossing me. You'll never get into my social circle. My dad just landed over $1 billion in deposits. His bonus alone is millions. Before Mike could continue, Leo slapped him across the face, stunning him. Mike held his cheek, looking at his dad in disbelief, fully confused. The whole room was stunned. Leo retracted his hand, smiling broadly and bowing as he approached me. Mr. Evan, please don't be offended. My son, he's got some issues, he said, pointing to his head. Please let it pass. About Christina, your ex, I'll make sure they break up. She won't set foot in my house. Rest assured, we won't touch what's yours. The room fell into silence. Christina, Mike, and the advisor's mouths hung wider than eggs. Everyone's eyes darted between Leo and me. Finally, Mike pointed at me, his voice shrill. Dad, have you lost your mind? He's just a broke nobody. Why are you so polite? Leo turned to Mike, eyes furious. Shut up. Disrespect Mr. Evan again and I'll cut off your credit. Mr. Evan just deposited over $1 billion at our bank. You lost it calling him a gold digger. That's his own money. My bonus? All thanks to Mr. Evan. Apologize. Leo's words sent shockwaves through the crowd. What? Did I hear right? Evan deposited over $1 billion? That's a dream I wouldn't dare dream. Christina pushed through the crowd to me. Evan, is what Leo said true? I raised an eyebrow but didn't deny it. Her smile beamed. That's amazing. We're finally rich. Evan, you're truly my lucky star. I sneered at her. Didn't you say I was blocking your luck and broke up with me ages ago? My money's got nothing to do with you, so stop acting like it does. Christina was trying to get close to me, but the excited counselor shooed her away like a magic trick. Evan, I just got the news, the counselor said. The principal mentioned you donated a building to the school. That's impressive. Remember your teacher in the future. I looked at her sympathetically. Did you hang up before the principal finished talking? I specifically told him you didn't want to be associated with me as your student. So, I'm graduating without being labeled as such. We won't have any future connections, and I doubt the principal is mad at you. The biggest blow landed on Mike. He couldn't wrap his head around how the so-called ugly duckling transformed into a low-key millionaire overnight. Under pressure from Leo, Mike begrudgingly apologized in public. Since his glare was too eerie, after the day's drama ended, I asked Leo to move my funds to another bank, just to cut off connections with these people. Leo begged dramatically, trying to change my mind, but I stayed firm. As for Mike, I guess they cut him off financially. Not long after, I noticed posts about him borrowing money on social media, but that's none of my concern. When Lucas and I started contacting Hope schools, Christina showed up. She had found out I bought 2 high-end villas and waited for me outside. She couldn't get in but camped outside the gates anyway. As soon as Lucas and I stepped out, Christina, eating instant noodles by the entrance, rushed over excitedly. Evan, I figured out where your money came from. I sent you my account number. Transfer the money to me right now. If it's not yours, you shouldn't worry about it burning your hands. Lucas and I exchanged glances. I pretty much expected this day would come, considering how public my poor status was, and the media's frenzy over the $2.4 billion lottery. Christina knew I bought a lottery ticket for her that day and easily pieced things together. Still, I found it amusing. Why would I give it to you? I laughed. Christina, already fed up, said, Come on, stop being petty. I was joking that day. Give me the money, and I'm your girlfriend again. Is that okay? Wow, that's some planning you got there. I could hear it all the way from the southern hemisphere. I shot back. Nope, not gonna happen. It's got nothing to do with you. Christina started acting like her usual self again, threatening me. If you don't give it, don't blame me for what happens next. I sincerely suggested, why not call the cops? Christina lunged at me in anger, but a tall, solid figure stepped in her way. Mr. Evan, how should I handle this? Asked my bodyguard. I already anticipated this, so I had plans in place. Ever since winning the lottery, I'd been searching for a bodyguard. Being poor taught me to plan 3 steps ahead. My bodyguard was an acquaintance from my hometown, with decent family conditions and a high level of taekwondo skills. He had always lent a hand to my family. After careful consideration, I hired him with a high salary. He was dependable, not overreaching, and very loyal. I signaled him to let Christina go and smirked. Christina, I'll let this slide, but next time, don't expect me to be so lenient. I've got 1,000 ways to deal with you now. Christina wasn't scared off. She couldn't come to my door again but kept trying to contact me every day. Understandable, considering the billions involved. She started by cursing me out on the phone, likely working from a script, spitting venom for 3 days straight without repeating a word. When that didn't faze me, she tried reasoning with me, appealing to my empathy, and finally resorted to tears. Watching it all was pretty entertaining since I wasn't gullible. All I could do was applaud her effort. Realizing I was unyielding, Christina really did call the cops. That was unexpected. The police came to talk. Mr. Evan, they said, Christina claims you stole her lottery ticket worth $2 billion. What do you have to say? I shrugged and showed them my purchase records, clearly proving I paid for the ticket. Additionally, the lottery center verified that the ticket was always in my name. We went to the lotto store, and the owner remembered me. Yeah, he's a regular. I joked about the prize potentially reaching $2 billion, and it actually did. I could talk about this forever. The officer then asked the owner about Christina's visits, and they replied with uncertainty. I might have seen her months ago, but she hasn't been here for a while. The cops gave Christina a reality check before letting us all go. Christina didn't back down. Soon after, Twitter was buzzing with a trending post. Lottery winner accused of theft. True owner speaks out. On Twitter, Christina wrote a tearful account, painting me as a greedy, sly guy who stole her prize and dumped her just moments after. She even uploaded a stack of her old lottery tickets as evidence, convincing everyone she was wronged. People really started taking her side. They were saying that if I didn't return what they thought was rightfully hers, they'd start bullying me online. Lucas was so mad he just threw his phone. Christina's gotta be some kind of idiot, he said. Her ego's bigger than the Pacific Ocean. I handed him a bowl of freshly cooked bird's nest soup. Don't be mad, have some soup, I said. Lucas took it grumpily and noticed how calm I was eating mine. He couldn't help but ask, aren't you upset? Christina's spreading all this nonsense. And now look at those people online, blasting you without getting the facts. I laughed. Freedom of speech, right? We've got money, who cares what they say? Plus, I already planned for this. That's right, I always play the long game, and I was ready for what was to come. Christina didn't get that the higher you fly, the harder you fall. I was just waiting for things to blow up completely. When Christina's accusations hit the top trending spot, that's when I struck back. After the last time cops got us to face off with the lottery store owner, I went back and asked for all the surveillance footage from the day I bought the ticket inside and outside the store. The tapes showed me buying the ticket, and the whole scene outside when Christina broke up with me. Plus, the chat history on showed she'd been making excuses for months, asking me to buy tickets for her. The store owner even made a little video, calling out Christina's bad behavior, and stated that the cops had already figured out the truth. He made it clear I was the real victim. Of course, I paid him a good amount for this help. I put all the evidence together and published it. It went viral. Compared to Christina's claims that were all talk, my evidence was solid. People could easily tell who was lying. The online crowd was furious at being used like that and started voicing their anger. So what? I see a lottery ticket. Guess it's mine. Quick! Someone tell me this logic sound. I see a building going up across from my house. Guess it's mine too. Next winning ticket is totally mine. Don't ask why, I just say so. Christina got bombarded with so much hate she deleted her account. But that didn't stop the online mob. Even her classmates chimed in. This is my classmate, I was there. She dumped the guy, and now he's rich. She's all we this and we that. Yeah, you didn't see how desperate she was. The whole mess got so big that Christina's school canceled her diploma. Even her advisor got canned. Her internship offer? Canceled too. The HR director called personally. We can't hire someone like you. What if one day you decide our company is yours? And just like that, Christina had nothing left. Well, nothing but a reputation that stinks for miles. Anyway, the day our first donation reached the Hope School, Lucas and I had a big fight about money. He stormed out, and I was so mad I sent the bodyguards away. So there I was, alone, drowning my sorrows in a big villa, when a not-so-friendly voice piped up. Evan, is that you? All alone? Huh? Looks like money isn't everything after all. Or maybe that money ain't yours to begin with. The lights flicked on, and I squinted at the sudden brightness. When I could see straight again, there were Christina and Mike standing there. Christina had a knife and Mike was holding some rope. I backed up, nervous. How'd you get in? Christina smirked. You forgot? Mike bought a house in this neighborhood too. Not as grand as yours, but enough to get in. Mike was impatient. Stop chatting and get on with it. Christina snapped back to business, looking down at me. Evan, I don't want to hurt you. I know you've got billions in the bank. Just transfer it to me and I'll let you live. I frowned. Robbery and kidnapping are illegal. Christina lost it. What else can I do? You forced my hand. Everything's gone because of you. I have no choice. I grinned. And if I say no, you gonna kill me? Christina stepped forward. Yes, I will. But not before I mess up that pretty face of yours. She was just a few feet away when the front door burst open. Police! Drop the knife. Relief washed over me. Couldn't help but roll my eyes. Lucas, couldn't you have been any slower? Here's how it really went down. A few days back, our bodyguard noticed Christina sneaking around the villa. Lucas and I talked it over and decided to lay a trap. The villa was already set up with tons of cameras, and Lucas could check them on his phone. Today, we pretended to fight and sent the bodyguards away. Right after, Lucas headed straight to the nearby police station, parked himself there, watching the monitors. The minute Christina made a move, Lucas called the cops, live streaming everything on the road. The bodyguards took the back route to block any escape. With all the evidence, it was an open and shut case. Mike and Christina were both caught. Lucas hired the best lawyer, making sure they got the maximum punishment. Christina's looking at least 10 years behind bars. With that circus over, we got back to our lives. The villa's all decked out now, and I chose a day to bring my mom over from the small town. On moving day, the village was buzzing. Your aunt's got a good life, working hard, all those years paid off, they said. My mom was all smiles, planning what to plant in the yard, how often to wash the pets. She told Lucas and me, go do what you need to. Don't worry about me. I'm doing just fine on my own. Lucas and I exchanged a glance. There's definitely a lot of things waiting for us to do. Don't waste today. Bonus. Lucas and I have been doing this travel-style charity work for a long time. We wander and pause. We take in the world's scenery while witnessing people's hardships. Wherever there's a lack of schools, we donate. If a place lacks teachers, we teach. When facilities are outdated, we build. Lucas jokingly calls us the wandering duo. This day, we passed through a small town. It just so happened to rain, so we ducked under a shelter by the road. Suddenly, a somewhat familiar voice spoke up. Sir, I've been reading the stars and feel you and I are connected. How about a tarot reading? Following the voice, I looked over. Well, what do you know, it's someone I know, that fake Taoist who ranted about Newton's principles before. Only today he was wearing different clothes. A black robe covered in stars and moons. A crystal ball in one hand. A deck of tarot cards in the other. He was trying hard to convince a passerby, who didn't seem interested and walked away quickly. The fake Taoist, looking defeated, searched for his next target and locked eyes with me. He paused, thinking it over. I dryly said, "Fake you." Realizing, he replied, "Oh, it's you." I raised an eyebrow and said, "I thought you did fortune-telling? Changed careers?" He seemed annoyed. "It's not fortune-telling. We're promoting science and fighting superstition." Lucas smirked. "And the crystal ball is scientific?" He ignored that and looked us over. "Want a tarot reading to see your future?" Lucas and I said in unison, "No thanks." Then we exchanged a smile. Even if we don't predict it, we know the road ahead is smooth. All we want to do is share our good fortune with others.